Well, howdy, friends and floorheads. This is it. This is our final episode of Brindlewood Bay. 13 episodes. The first 12 have been magic. Let's talk about where we are and how the hell we got here. Our Mavens returned to Brindlewood Bay during the last session to find it warped and dark. The midwives of the Fragrant Void are closer than ever to completing their ritual. The Mavens had one final question they needed to answer. What is the time, location, and the manner for the final ritual needed to summon the child of Persephone? And answering that question unlocks the ability to stop the ritual. After a pretty frenetic day and night, they sat down with all their clues and they answered their question. They meddled all over and they found out the time, which was going to be the next evening, where basically tonight. Location, the ruins of the old lighthouse by the bay. And the manner of the final ritual, sacrifice. Deputy Valentine, turns out, is the descendant of one of the first mates of the Deep River whaling ship, which brought the body of a deep leviathan to Brindlewood Bay back in 1877. Now, last night, they went to the house of Eudora Dory Coffin, the chair of the Brindlewood Bay Lunch Club, and they found their last clues. By the time they went, they spent their time inside, leaving the deputy outside to do some investigating. And by the time they went back outside, the deputy was gone. But her car was there, abandoned. And after a long night of searching for her, the four of them decided to go to bed. They needed some rest for today. Now it's morning. Our mavens are waking up. Today, they are the only thing between the midwives and the end of the world. How will they prepare for tonight? What is their plan? Is it already too late? We'll find out on the other side of the opening credits.
Attention, brave viewers. This video features adults immersed in a spine-chilling horror RPG experience. The content likely includes supernatural elements, horror-related events, and potentially scenes of violence. Viewer discretion is advised. Enjoy.
We have all the answers. It's a brand new day. I want to start off with our cozy vignettes. And the only restriction I'll put on the four of you is it has to happen in the morning, this morning, and you have to be in your home. So, who wants to open us up here with their first cozy vignette? Geraldine? Talk to me
Yeah,
about this morning.
so this morning she wakes up, gets coffee. She has Kansas Wayward Son playing on blast, and you see across her coffee table there was a window, and then that window is kind of an evidence board of the deconstructed book that she's received. And that is what she has been obsessed with in these past since she's been up.
So it sounds like Geraldine, you have really dove in as far as part of your prep for today is to say, figure out what is exactly in this book and what can it tell me. As you walked around in your normal morning routine, in a house that you have lived in for a while now. In what way could you tell that your house had been affected by the presence of the midwives of the fragrant void?
It it smells constantly of seawater,
Mm.
of just ocean
Very,
in
very nice.
every room.
Very, very nice. Who's next? Who has my next cozy vignette for the morning of hopefully
I
not
can
the
go.
last day of all time?
I can do it.
Maud?
So Maud is in her painting studio. She is painting while she is on FaceTime with her oldest daughter. You can't see the painting. You just can see that she's got her paintbrush and she's going on the canvas and she's talking to her daughter. And her daughter is saying, "Listen, your brother called. He says he's worried about you. What's going on?" And Maud says, "It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's going to be all right. Just had a little moment. Things are a little tense here, but we're working on it." And she's, kind of goes on for a little bit like this, and then you see a pan slowly to the picture that Maud is painting, and it is the scene from her living room with the body in the floor, except this
Mm.
time instead of her doppelganger, it's Maud in the floor, and the blood goes up to the wall, and then goes as it hits the wall, it flows up into a silhouette.
So, Maud, other than your painting, as you went around the house this morning, how could you tell that somehow things had changed and the presence and power of the midwives had affected your home?
Maud is just every corner is dark, every shadow is deep. Even when you cut the lights on, it still is very dark. Like the shadows, turning the lights on actually makes the shadows that are there even darker. Like it's such a stark contrast that you almost feel like Maud feels like if she stepped into those shadows, she would just fall. Like it's just like a pit.
Elsie and Jackie, who's next? Oh, you're on. Okay. Is that a not me? So let's go to Elsie. You're on mute, Jackie.
I
But
can
go ahead,
do it.
Elsie.
Okay, so I am in my bedroom with the sun kind of peeking through the large bay windows, through the flimsy curtains, and I'm just sitting cross-legged on my bed. I've got Poe next to me, and one hand is petting him kind of absent-mindedly, while the other one is flipping pages in a big photo book, and it's pictures of her when she was younger with her siblings and her parents, and then pictures of her own kids, pictures of her weddings, of her children's weddings, and just these kind of golden moments that she's kind of desperately clinging to in the darkness, and she's just kind of softly crying. And in the mirror in front of me, the large standing mirror, every time a tear falls and hits the photo book, a little stream of black smoke tendrils up from the pages.
Elsie, when you go down to the bookstore this morning, not to open it yet, it's way too early to open the store. How can you tell that the store has been touched by the power of the midwives?
The plants that have kind of filled this place, the little nooks and the crannies and in the windowsills, and the just kind of the small places of the bookstore, have all turned to ash and tendrils. They've all blackened, almost look burned in the morning light.
Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning. So right now, Jackie is kind of meandering around her house with a large sticky pad, and she's writing notes down. And every once in a while, she peels one off and she slaps it on something, and it's like the names of her nieces and like her sister. And it's all just labeling what item goes to which person. And there's notes like, do not sell this or I will haunt you. And just so she's all of the antiques in her house, everything she knows of that's going to have value has like red stickers on it, right? So she's just going through and just plastering everything with sticky notes. And it's become a little bit of a situation because of how much has piled up and how many items there are and how many of these empty, like the back of the pads that are like discarded on the floor now. So this is how she's been. She didn't sleep. She just kind of was doing this all night long. And on her desk, there's, her last will, and it's very straightforward and cynical, and very, do not sell this. You can sell this. I don't expect you to keep these. And it's very just by the numbers, not a lot of romance or flowery speech at all. Just directions.
Yeah. So as you were going through the house, looking at all of these things you've acquired in your lifetime as this incredible hobby of yours, little pieces of history, each of them having a memory of how you found it and how you negotiated for each one of these items. And now as you're deciding where they're going to go after, whatever after might be, how did you notice something changed in the house? How could you sense the power of the midwives?
It's just been a pervasive feeling in the house. She's had that dark passenger that's kind of been watching her the entire time, and just the omnipresence of that and all of the things that they've been through. At this point, she's actually moved her bed out into the atrium, so because it's almost all glass, and she feels more comfortable there because there's no corners, there's no dark corners, there's nothing to hide there. So she's actually living in the glass house.
So I would imagine that the four of you have had the beginnings of a plan. So let's bring you all together. It makes sense to me for it to be the bookstore, but this is not my decision. Where do you think the four of you would convene to start this day of days?
The bookstore.
Where it all
I
started.
think the bookstore.
So maybe we'll cut to the bookstore. Let's skip past the arrivals. Let's maybe have everybody sitting around. We can see the open sign on the inside, which means the outside is seeing the closed sign for the Crow and Quill. Elsie, what are you serving everybody?
Tea and buttermilk biscuits. Jam, butter, all that good stuff.
I'm imagining a good bit of silence until someone breaks that. So who's going to break the silence?
You got any liquor? Just dump in here a
just
little bit.
Reach in my bag and pull my flask out. I know you have your own.
This jam is really good. Do you have? I'm just going to, and she's going to go raid the fridge for other jams because she's in avoidance mode. Everything's fine. This is an amazing jam. Love these biscuits. Come on, Nanners, under the arm.
And I think Maud is watching everybody, waiting to see who's going to say it first. And she's still very like that same energy she had the night before is still kind of building until finally she just goes, all right, y'all. I hate to be the one. What the hell are we going to do?
I've got almost a death grip on Poe.
Do about what? And she's passing everyone like different jams. Like this is going to be the thing that fixes everything. Everybody take a jar of jam.
Okay, okay. Everyone sit down. Jackie, sit down.
Jackie can stand. Jackie sits down. She got the current shareholder.
Maud, you're right. What are we going to do?
What can we do?
We made it this far. We can probably do a lot.
We can go up to that lighthouse and start being ourselves, being our obnoxious ass selves until we figure out what's going on or they give up.
You're good with that?
I mean, we know where they are. We know some of who they are.
How many do we think are even going to be there?
Does it matter? Oh, we can't stay here, right? I mean, none of us are able to just not act, right? We've not been able to sit still before. What makes this different?
That's when it was things that we understood.
Right.
This
How are we
is
supposed to? This is so much more, way more.
Mm-mm. Nope. If we think about it like that, we will all lose our minds. It's the same old thing. Somebody's going to get murdered, and we're going to stop it this time.
Maybe
We're just going to be ahead of it this time.
I just want to
Maybe, but it doesn't matter.
Probably should.
At this point, really? I don't think it does.
I mean, before we could at least rely on the cops.
But we have to keep Valentine out of this, too. We can't take her there.
Well, she's gone. They probably got her. They probably already got her there.
Honestly,
we don't have any choice but to go rescue her.
Yeah, you have a point. I know.
And we can pretend like we're not, and she'll look straight at Jackie. We can pretend like we're not as long as we want to, but we know we're going to be there when it comes down to it.
Well, how long do we got?
It's tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we got all day to figure it out.
And I'll tell you, for the four of you, I think you had the lunar calendar. You had a lot of clues. I'm fine with you guys knowing exactly the time. So you guys can decide when that time is. I think you have that level of precision.
I think twilight makes sense. It's that kind of change period.
Very symbolic. I like it.
I like it.
Maybe we should spend the day trying to figure out if we have any allies. Anybody that can help us. We've helped a lot of people around here. Surely not all of them are crazy cultist assholes.
How are we supposed to trust anybody?
How
we
do
have
we
to
tell
trust
them
our
apart?
gut. We have to trust our gut. We've done it since the beginning anyway. And the only one who really pulled one over on us was Dalrymple. And when I get my hands on him,
he need to get beaten with a bat. That guy's an ass.
We should call his mother.
She holds up her purse and she says, I got a 30-pound handbag.
So where are we headed, ladies?
Whew.
Who would you suggest, Maud? Do you think we know who might be on our side?
I have an idea. You're not going to like it. It'd require going to your competition.
Yeah, right now, I don't really care. I just want this to end, however, in any way.
She has to know. She moves around all the same people we do. She doesn't have as much to do with them, but she knows they're there. She has to know.
Before we run off on another hero mission, I just gotta ask everyone: are y'all seeing weird shit too, or is it just me?
Well, I have to be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like way more.
Like the a change, like a big change.
Maud will reach out from behind her and pull out the picture she was painting this morning and set it down in front of you and say, "Yep."
That's
Like
gross.
shit like
Why
that.
would you do that to you?
I mean, technically, it's quite nice, though.
Yeah,
Thank
no,
you.
it's an exquisite detail. You found
Couldn't
really
help it.
good.
It was like I was
Subject
possessed.
matter.
I don't know. But yeah, things are different. And if we don't change them, they'll permanently be different.
And honestly, if we don't get out of here, if we don't make a change, I think this is it. We chose not to leave. But, you know, I did my will about 2 murders ago, so.
Here's the thing I've been thinking,
I just
though.
did mine last night.
Here's the thing I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about it all night. They didn't want us here for a reason. They targeted us for a reason. They tried to get you to join them for a reason. There's something about us that bothers them. And if we're good at anything, we're good at disrupting plans. Whether we do it on purpose or not, that's a different story.
Come on, Maud. You know we mess up
did.
a lot of these people plans on purpose.
It is satisfying, yes.
Let's have the 4 of you step out of the Crow and Quill. And it sounds like we're going to head down to the Candlelight Bookstore. See if we can't find old Jane Flock, the manager of the bookstore. When you step out, it's, let's say, like 9 a.m. This time of year, spring in Brindlewood Bay, we would expect the salty air to be coming in off the cove. We'd expect finally a breaking of winter, finally some warmth, growth on the trees, but it feels like it's still the dead of winter. And it's just dim. And you look up into the sky and it feels like the sun is fighting to show through. And you would swear that the sky is almost rippling, like waves, like almost a reflection of the ocean below it. For some reason, the streets are not very busy. There's still cars passing, but not a lot of people walking on the streets. It's about a block and a half down to get to the Candlelight. And as you're about to get there, you have to pass by Old Blake's Bakery. Remember, you met Melanie, the daughter that runs it now. And as you're about to cross the street, she almost falls out the front door. She looks disheveled, but in fairness, she always does. She's got patches of flour on herself and on her apron. But she's staring into the shop, not even acknowledging that you're there, stopped in front of her. And she's got her hand covering her mouth. And she's just staring blankly into the store.
Well, being hasn't worked for me yet, so I'm gonna walk over to her and look into the store.
She's shaking visibly when you walk up to her. She's breathing quickly. And there's a huge display window at the front of Blake's Bakery. Inside of it, you can see the counters. You can see the cakes already under glass, the display cases. In the morning, she has scones and donuts. That'll change over to breads and biscuits later. But there's somebody in that store. Only one person in that store. It looks like a man. He looks to be looking into the cases, but he's got his back to you, so you can't make out who it was. She's and her just hands, her body is just shaking.
Hey, what's wrong?
He's inside the shop. He just walked in.
Who did?
Look. Elsie, I think you figure it out first. As he turns to look at the side display cases. He's got a donut in his hand. He takes a big bite out of the donut. He's looking around. It's Paul Rivera. Host or former host of the Great Bake Off.
Well,
What the hell?
Didn't he die?
Yeah, he was
mhm.
dead.
Looks pretty spry for a dead guy.
I'm gonna go up to. I'm gonna go up to.
No. I'm crowding her physically. Let's yell to him from here where it's safer. That's not normal.
I yell out for him.
What do you yell?
Paul.
So the first couple times you yell it, Elsie, you don't seem to get a reaction. I'm imagining your voice is escalating maybe as you do it. And finally you get to that volume that makes it very clear. He turns, having heard you through the glass of the front window. You see him kind of trying to piece together. You see a recognition on his face. He recognizes you. Then all of a sudden he goes and just kind of nonchalantly waves to you with the donut in his hand. And he goes back, and we see him lifting up one of the glass covers on the cakes, and it looks like he's grabbing a plate.
No, dear. Why don't you get up and just follow us?
How is he here?
Cult stuff. That's no time to explain.
Yeah, weird cult stuff. I'll put an arm around her and begin backing her away. Come on.
But what if but that's my shop. That's my mom and dad's shop.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine.
She seems to be following you. Where are we going to take her?
I guess with us. Come along for a ride.
Yeah.
So across the street is the Candlelight bookseller. Not a whole lot of traffic to watch for as you cross the little 2-lane road that's Main Street of Brindlewood Bay. Unlike the Crow and Quill, there's an open sign at the Candlelight.
Let's go ahead.
I think Maud walks in first.
So Maud, you walk in. You're not a common patron of here. I think if you were, it would break Elsie's heart maybe. The bookstore looks open for business. Behind the counter, you can see Jane. And when the little bell rings that happens when the door is opened, she looks up and she's visibly surprised to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Maud. Hi.
Maud kind of smiles at her and she says, can I get one of your coffees? And just a quick talk.
Of course, of course. I'm a little short-handed. But Elias hasn't come to work. He's late. But yeah. If you just can stand here and make sure nobody like grabs the register or anything, I'll run to the back and get you a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And she does.
Look at the girls, Elias.
Has to
And then
be.
just
Has to be.
Maud's gonna take in the bookshop. Is the same weirdness here?
We're actually going to do a bit of a paint the scene here, I think, Maud, as you're looking around in the same way you noticed your house has changed. In the same way Elsie's plants have died. In the same way the sky looks resistant to the sun shining from it. Why does the candlelight look affected by the power of the midwives?
There is a sound, and it almost sounds, when you first hear it, like a rustling of feathers. But when you take a closer look and you listen, some of the books are rustling. Like it's pages on the books, almost like a wave through the books as you go through the shelf. Just a slight jittering of pages.
So I still have Elsie, Geraldine, and Jackie outside. Is that right with Melanie?
I'd walk inside.
Okay.
Buddy
I would
systems.
stay outside with Melanie just to keep. I don't think that she needs to get like this. The person surprised her in her bake shop, so I don't feel like she's quite in the know. So I'm going to keep her away from whatever else is happening.
Elsie, you
I'm
going
gonna
in?
stay with. I know I'm gonna stay with Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
Geraldine, you step in. You can hear that sound of pages kind of scraping against each other, that rustling sound that Maud heard when she came in as well. But for you, that's not the only thing that tells you that the midwife's power, its tendrils are everywhere, even here in the candlelight. What do you notice?
I would notice the moisture in the air. The walls are crying in a sense.
So Jane comes back. She's got a cup of coffee for you, Maud. She's got a little dish that has creamers and sugars in it. She goes, Geraldine. Oh dear, I don't normally see you guys here. Is Elsie okay?
Yeah, Elsie's fine. Yeah, we got a few questions for you.
Sure. Can I get you a cup of coffee too?
Nah.
Maud, she hands you the coffee cup. What's a coffee cup? Is one of those novelty coffee cups. What's it say on it?
I think it says. I think it's got like a Disney logo, but it's shaped to be Brindlewood Bay instead of Disney. Like it's vaguely reminiscent, it's vaguely
Reminiscent.
Disney,
Yep.
but it's reminiscent. That's the word I'm looking for. But it's also Brindlewood Bay.
Beautiful, like a souvenir coffee cup. She goes, yeah, it's slow. No one's here. We can just sit and she's got like a lot of this type of style of bookstore. There's a central table, like a coffee table with couches and mismatched chairs. And she kind of directs you towards there to sit down.
Okay. We'll take a seat.
Yeah.
No one's died, have they?
Opposite, actually.
Okay.
Jane, have you noticed anything? We were gone for a couple of days, and when we came back, I don't know, something's not right with the town. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary?
Yeah, it's gotten pretty damn weird. The sky seems dim, even midday. It's been dead in here. I mean, I haven't sold a book in 3 or 4 days. In fact, you guys are the first people to come in the store in a while. I don't know. I'm not sleeping well. I'm a little worried about Elias. I even went to see if potentially, he was performing down, below the coffee shop, but they no-showed there too. So she wasn't there. So I'm just a little worried about him. But I don't know. Maybe it's the end of tourist season. I don't know. I mean, but we're coming into spring. But yeah, like things, you know what? Things just seem off.
Mhm. What do you
Yeah.
know about Brindlewood Bay's history?
Not a whole lot. I mean, used to be a fishing town, I think, if memory serves. Always been quiet and cozy. I think we kind of became a little bit of a tourist trap maybe about 20 years ago or so, which, kind of brought the town back to life a little bit. Um, what else? My mom told me about that weirdness with the hippies
Hmm.
about 30 years ago. There's some weirdo hippies that lived outside of town and used to do weird like festivals and stuff like that. And that's about all I remember.
And has anyone ever approached you about joining up with some little club or secret meeting or something like that?
Yeah.
And what'd you tell them?
I told him I don't have time for that. I can barely keep things going here. But God bless Dory. I appreciated her offer, and she's got that whole lunch club thing, and I figured it was just an extension of that. But yeah, but that was a while ago. That was almost a year ago now.
I think Maud's going to shoot Geraldine a look that just kind of says, "Do we just lay it out?"
All right. So here's the thing. Dory is one of the people who's running a cult called the Midwives of the Fragrant Void or some shit like that. They're trying to bring the end times, and we need people to help us stop this shit.
I know it seems like a lot, Jane, but look at us. We are two of the people that have our heads on straight in this town more than anybody else. We haven't lied to you before. We wouldn't lie to you now. It's crazy, but if you'll just think about it, the pieces make sense.
So that's quite a right turn, I think, from coffee and the weather to the cult and the end times. So let's go ahead and do I think it'll just be a day move with presence, Geraldine. And let's see whether old Jane is smoking what you're growing.
Yeah.
So she goes, wait a minute. The occult?
Yeah.
And the end times? You're saying
Yeah.
Dory is is it like a Waco death cult?
Like summoning demons and shit called.
Maud will pull out the picture of Del Ripple from the 30s and hand it to her.
She looks, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's Ralph.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How old is this picture?
30s?
30s, yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't, unless
Because it's a cult.
unless you follow our line of thinking and that things are not right around here.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, ladies. I sell books.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much help I can be, fighting a death cult.
We just need people, and we need people that are on our side, and we need people that'll believe us. And
I think I believe you.
Your books are rattling like they're feathers.
I hear that.
Okay.
So what do you want me to do? I don't understand.
I haven't fully gotten that far. I'll be honest. We're just trying to find
Yeah.
any allies we can find because we don't know who to trust in this town. Everybody seems to be linked to it somehow.
Well, I guess if you're making a list, you can put me in the not cult side.
Okay.
If you do me a favor, if you see Elias, tell him like I'm not mad. The job's here waiting for him.
I'm pretty sure Elias might be a part of this. So if you see him, don't tell him any of this.
Okay.
Matter of
All
fact,
right.
anybody that you haven't seen in the past couple days probably is part of this. It sounds like they're gearing things up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you think you might be able to give us some help, just meet us over at Elsie's place tonight, this afternoon, before it gets dark.
What time?
What time of year is it right now?
It's springtime, so you figure twilight's going to be probably starting around 6:30, 7-ish.
Meet us there about 4:00.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. And as she's leaving, she'll turn around and she'll go, just be careful.
I will. So as this conversation is happening, I want to cut back outside to Elsie and Jackie. Melanie's starting to calm down a little bit. She goes, was that really Paul Rivera? He was telling me my donuts are dry.
It could have been worse.
He also doesn't have any taste. Don't worry about his judgment.
But we saw his body.
Yeah.
It was in the news.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
That's
No.
been happening. Are you
A
okay to
lot.
drive?
I guess so, but I kind of want to go back. I mean,
I don't think you should. I think you should leave
You should leave town
right now.
right now.
They move with presence, either Elsie or Jackie. Whoever's pressing this. Who's pressing it?
Jackie rolls better.
I'll press.
All right, let's do a day move with presence. She goes, okay, but only if you lock up. And she hands you the keys to the bakery.
I'm going to
No
pull a
problem.
crystal out of my bag and press it into her hand. Keep this on you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm just parked in the back lot.
Okay. Go now. Go.
She
Go.
does. Where do we cut to the four of you? What's next?
I like to think that we're standing outside the bakery because I'm saying I got the keys and the should be dead guy is in there complaining about dry donuts.
We're just watching him like.
So by the time you get back to the bakery, you look and Paul's in there. He's now taken one of the little dinette tables that Melanie has, like little dinette tables where people can sit maybe two at a time. And he's sitting at one of them, and there's just muffins and donuts and cakes, and he's taking a fork and tasting each one of them and just gorging himself on Melanie's treats.
I have a plan.
Oh, what's the plan?
Give me the key. Take the key. I walk up to the door. I open it, stick my hand in, turn the sign to close, shut it, and I lock it.
Okay.
And we're not dealing with you for a while.
All right, Geraldine, we're gonna need a night move. Let's take a look here. Let's do it with. Oh, I'm thinking it's with reason. Because it
Okay.
sounds like you're trying to be sneaky unless you can make a case otherwise. Do you think you give me an idea of your approach here? You're opening the door, turning the sign around, hitting the lights.
I want to say composure because I want to feel like I belong there. When you belong somewhere, no one pays attention to you.
I'm good with that. But before you roll it, you got to tell me, what are you afraid is going to happen if you lose your composure?
I might trip. Or he might even hear how fast my heart is beating.
Yeah, it's worse than that. He's going to definitely notice. He's going to definitely realize that you've opened up the door not to come in to say hello, but in fact to turn off the lights and lock him in. I think what he'll do is catch the door before you close it and push his way past you and just start beating you right on the front sidewalk. So let's go ahead and roll with composure.
Cool, it seems fair.
So you swing the door open. You quickly flip the sign. And you're reaching to find the lights. And it's just like you're trying to watch him. He's not even acknowledging. Finally, you have to turn your head because you can't find the lights. You flick the lights and you turn and he's there. Hi. And he shoves you out onto the sidewalk. The three of you see Geraldine tumble, and we can often forget, I mean, you four women have been a lot, you've done a lot. You're still not spring chickens. So we see poor Geraldine stumble backwards and fall and hit that concrete. Paul's walking up to you. And he just starts hitting you. Three of you are watching this.
Can I use a crown? Or because
You can put on a crown. Let's go ahead and put on a crown.
Yes.
Yeah, sure am.
That's going to upgrade that roll from a failure to a partial success. I would like you to narrate for me what happens as you open up that door and flip the sign.
So when I open up the door, flip the sign, and I start shutting it, because it's a partial success, he still notices me. But before he can get up and push past me, I lock him in. And he's just kind of at the door going ape shit crazy.
Yeah, he's banging up against the windows. I'm going to give you a condition. You currently have obsessed with the void. I'm going to add to that Geraldine. And let's add eyes from Paul.
Touche. Yep, that's what it would get you.
So the Geraldine closes the door just in time, locks it. Paul's there, and all of you have tried to look at him pretty good, right? He is not supposed to be here. There's nothing indicating he's a zombie or dead or decayed. He looks as healthy as he does on the TV show when you're watching reruns of his old episodes. He's banging on the window. Hey, what are you doing? Let me out. Hey, unlock the door.
Yeah, ladies, let's go. Let's go now.
I agree.
As you walk
Maud
away.
will wave
Oh, go ahead.
as we're walking away.
Okay, Maud. You wave as you walk away. Right before we cut away, though, I want you guys to walk by the park, which is right around there, and you see some kids playing. They're playing marbles, it looks like. They're flicking marbles in kind of a matted dirt sand area where they're playing. All ages of between like 6 and 8 years old. And before we cut away, you notice the shape of the pattern that they're flicking the marbles is an oval eye. Where are we cutting to? Or when are we cutting to?
I can't help myself. We got to cut to the liquor store.
Okay.
For new and interesting reasons, because I know these ladies are going to drag me down to that lighthouse. I want to stock up on some primo Molotov cocktail action. So we're going to load the trunk full of as much liquor as I can pack onto my credit cards.
We can montage that of the four of you with baskets, right? Walking around, buying the cheapest vodka, the cheapest gin, and just loading it up.
I did this in the 60s too.
Yeah, the young kid behind the counter is like, "Are you?"
We're hosting a social.
Oh, okay.
I show him my ID. We're old enough.
No. I'm sure of that. Wasn't doubting that at all.
Wow, you're saying we look our age.
As we go through that montage of the four of you loading up the back of the hoopty with all of these cheap bottles of liquor, who can tell me what you noticed in the liquor store that gave you a sense that the midwives have reached even this far?
There is tendrils in every other bottle of liquor.
We're not buying this.
Pull them up, you can see like these worm-like things moving in the bottle, and if you pick it up and turn the bottle, they're like almost two-dimensional, right? Like if depending on how you look at it, you can't see it, and you set it down. If you leave it alone long enough, you can just see these tendril worms that are floating in some of the bottles. So it sounds like we've stocked up. The trunk is full of bottles of booze. Where do we cut to, and when do we cut to next?
So we think Elias was part of this. I wonder if, club, what's the club he worked at? Club Silenzio? Who was there?
Silencio.
Who was there?
We can check there, but I'll be honest, I'm probably going to grab like a bat or a pipe or something.
Maud hefts her pocketbook.
So do we want to go check out the club?
I don't know. I mean, are we still looking for more people? Or are we?
It wouldn't hurt us to quickly check.
All right, let's go.
So you go. Now, the Umbral, which is the coffee shop that Frank owns, is above it, right? If you remember, it's kind of that pseudo-Italian looking coffee shop, little bistro that he ran. And if you also remember, he's Claudia Oro's lover, that we figured that out as well. There's a close sign. Normally he's open by now for lunch.
Go bang on the door. I'm trying to open it. Is it locked?
It is.
Damn it.
Is anybody out on the street?
It's almost like a ghost town.
I can see the wheels turning in Dika's mind. I know what's going to happen. Go ahead.
Can we just bust out a window?
You sure can.
Yeah.
All right. I will need a night move, though. Let's do a night move before we do it. What do you afraid is going to happen if you break this window and fail this roll?
Dalrymple's gonna pop up.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what'll happen. I think that we find Sheriff Dalrymple has some questions for you, breaking and entering. But it's worse than that, because he's not alone. He will have brought friends, and you will be vastly outnumbered. And I think your plan to visit the lighthouse on your own time might be sped up. They might take you there themselves.
All right. Night move with vitality.
With vitality.
No pressure.
Okay.
So you break the window. Reach in, click. You're able to undo the lock. Push it open. Step in.
Cautiously, yes.
How are you feeling right now, Geraldine, breaking into this place?
A little bit exciting.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Can you add a condition thrilled for me?
Yeah.
Who's going in to the Umbral along with Geraldine?
I'll go with it.
Maud, Jackie?
Model stay on lookout.
You're gonna stay outside in the front on the front sidewalk? Jackie?
That means I'll be staying with Maud.
Buddy system.
So Elsie and Geraldine, if you remember, you have to kind of walk past all the tables in the Umbral, and there's the door that looks like just a utility closet or a basement door. But everyone who is a local at Brindlewood Bay knows that Club Silencio is actually in the basement, and that door is never opened until it's opened for the evenings there. You see the door. Check it, it's locked. You're blinded by a flash. The two of you. And it's dark in here, so the flash of light is very startling. You start blinking. And she says to you, now just go a little bit to the right, and hold hands for me. It's exactly who you think it is. She gets down on one knee. She brings her camera up. She goes, yep, that's perfect. No. Get a little bit closer.
Just slowly start moving back.
No, guys, it's free. I just want to take some more. I just want to take a couple more pictures.
Oh, yeah. No. We'll be
right back.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still here.
Let's go.
Well, okay.
Looking good, by the way.
Like really,
flashes again
really
as she takes
good.
another picture. The two of you step back outside to see Maud and Jackie standing outside. Maud and Jackie, you can't really see inside here. It's very dark, but you have been seeing those flashes.
We gotta go.
All right, now we gotta go. Same. Another dead one. That's not dead. Maybe used to be dead. I don't know.
Maud gets a look on her face and she goes, what about Amanda? If all these dead people are showing up and her husband shows up, should we get her the hell out of her house?
Fuck them. They're fine. Isn't Amanda one of them?
I don't know. We don't know. Never gave us any indication she was.
But if they are coming back, maybe we should at least warn her or try and get her out before it happens. Come on, this is what we do.
No, I know.
And if we're thinking about Amanda, We also need to think about Coco. Remember Coco, the actress?
Yes, Abner. Oh no, we have to go fast.
Can we do
Can we
another
let-
montage of us all just making phone calls?
We sure can. There's a lot of convincing. I think for Amanda Shipley, she is not buying any of your BS. So if you're going to convince her to get the hell out of town, I need to know what lie you told her that made her finally get in the car and go.
There's a gas line leak in her neighborhood.
And she says, is that what's affecting you and why you're coming up with all of these crazy stories? My God. Okay. Yeah. And she heads out of town. Now, Coco is much easier. Coco believes you from go. She never questions anything. She thinks that makes total sense. And before she heads out, she asks if you need any help.
Do you have a good arm?
Maybe a large gun.
She takes you to a corner of the house, her and Abner's house, that I don't think any of you had ever seen. It's a full-blown sex dungeon. And she starts pulling out weapons and starts handing them out.
Oh, well, this is most definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coco's ready.
Abner
So
was a hunter, wasn't he?
Who,
So,
Abner?
yeah.
No,
Sure
just a
would be.
director.
No?
Just a director who thought he was better than he really was.
Ah,
I think what we're going to need to do, though, is cut to the hoopty pulling up just outside of the sand dunes. Within eyesight of the lighthouse, or the ruins of the lighthouse. The lighthouse is barely there anymore. And a bit of a couple shots of everybody loading up with their weapons. Sounds like Jackie's going to insist on how are we carrying? Are we keeping the bottles in the trunk? What are we doing here, Jackie? What's the plan with the liquor?
We got a lot of ladies with big purses. I think we're gonna have to just kind of like lug them along.
yeah. Well, we'll have brought a couple of extra backpacks with us as well.
Mhm.
So
Got
we're
a
loading
holster.
up Lost Boys style and getting ready. We're going to take a 10-minute break and let's find out whether these four ladies can save the world. Be right back. So as you spent your afternoon getting ready, getting people you cared about the hell out of town, people that you cared about that you couldn't find, twilight was approaching. And every time it seemed like you looked up into the sky, it just got darker and more sea-like. And now that you're standing on the dunes, looking down at the ruins of this lighthouse, you see a flock of birds flying above it. in a very weird spiral formation. You see a fog rolling in off the sea, a fog that's hiding the water. At the same time that the water's above you. As you look in the sky now, all you see is an inky ocean. No stars, no setting sun, no rising moon. And it fully forms as soon as the fog reaches the land and starts to spread across the beach. There's shadows in the fog. You feel like people are whispering to you as the fog finally reaches the car. Whatever's happening must be happening soon.
Let's go end this.
Yep. Let's meddle.
I'm going to hand each one of them a crystal before we go. To burn a little bit of sage around all of us.
So I know we have bags and backpacks full of booze. We've also spent the day, with Coco's help, arming ourselves. Elsie, how are you planning on protecting yourself?
Well, I've got Poe, so I feel completely invincible as long as he is with me. It's kind of my touch point, my anchor, that's kind of keeping me grounded.
Maud?
So Maud grew up in the mountains, up in Appalachia. And there's a lot of, she grew up with a lot of superstitions. But what she does have is a container of Morton salt. And because she thinks that she can disrupt rituals or something, she just knows that whatever it is, Haints don't like salt. So.
Geraldine, how have you armed yourself?
Geraldine is much more grounded than some of her friends. Out of her toolbox, she has a giant wrench in her right hand. They got the spiritual, she will get the physical.
And how about Jackie? I just filled out my Will Smith. What are you carrying?
Jackie is also a little bit more practical. She's got her bog standard old lady gonna take the bus kit. She's got a taser and pepper spray, and she's ready to do this.
So you start walking down the dunes. There's no pathways or anything. People haven't been to this ruins in a long time. Every once in a while, you hear kids getting caught by Daryl Ripple making out in the ruins and things like that. But tourists don't go there. It's all completely overgrown. A little hard to see through this fog. And like I said, there's just seems to be these shadows of people or reflections of people just walking in the fog around. And they whisper. But if you turn your head, you don't see them. Everything's out of the corner of your eye. It's a glimpse here and there. You start walking up to these ruins, and to paint the picture, it's a circular lighthouse, or was. The first floor, the base level of it is crumbled. There's one area that's still about 10 foot high on the far side, but most of it has crumbled into nothing. Just rocks and just overgrown with vines. And two of you notice something. I think Elsie, you hear them. Those animals from the mountains. that somehow followed you here. And you just get the sense of them watching you, stalking you, and somehow making sure that you keep walking towards the lighthouse. The other thing is what Jackie sees. It's a shadow at first. There's been so many shadows of something sitting on one of the stones of the ruined southern wall of this lighthouse. It's sitting there, its tail is flipping, and you can see the fog curl around the tail as it flips. You know the shape. That's Nanners.
Oh my! There's some double takes because like she's still got this thing under her arm. She's looking at it, she's looking over at the one on the wall. I don't think Jackie can help herself. She's gonna call out to it.
You call its name. It hisses and then jumps into the ruins.
Look back at Nanners, and that might actually be the real Nanners.
So you get to the ruins, and I don't know if you've ever been here or the last time you've been here, but you can tell that part of it has been cleared out. Some of the bigger parts of the brick walls that have fallen have been pushed aside, and enough to expose the staircase that obviously leads down to some sort of sub basement. You can also see what looks like fire flickering up from below. One last time, I need you to paint the scene for me. As you stand here in the ruins, as you see this staircase leading down to flickering fire, how do you guys all know, looking around, that this is the place and this is the time? Maud?
I think that as we get closer, there's this sense of pressure, almost like the barometric pressure is dropping, like right before a storm. There's just this sense of expectation, like things are really building and suddenly the bubble is going to pop.
Geraldine, what do you notice?
As we're walking through, it might be a bit in our heads, but she's feeling breath as if it's the first time your child takes that breath in life, just waiting, but it feels wrong. It feels bastardized.
What do you notice, Jackie?
I'm noticing how everything is pushing towards this one place. The shadows are leading us here. Nanners even ran this way. Jackie's still kind of really on the lookout for, like, even though all this other stuff is happening, she's kind of distracted by this. She's looking for the cat still. But everything is leading to this area, and you can almost feel like the darkness kind of pushing in as well as we get closer. So everything is just really focusing in at this point, almost like if we tried to turn around now, we'd run into darkness and like just pitch black.
Elsie, what do you notice before you guys get to the top of the stairs?
It absolutely reeks of sulfur and salt water.
And normally you'd expect that coming from the ocean, from the breeze off the ocean, but the air is still, and it just gets stronger the closer you get to that opening leading down to the basement. right before you get to the ruins themselves, Coco says, I think I left the oven on. I'm gonna just go check it real quick. And you just see her fade off into the fog.
Understandable.
Yeah, I think Jackie would have reached really like to try and grab her, but like she just that kind of moment where like the mist is so oppressive that she vanishes from sight so quickly that if I reach any further, I know I'll lose track of the other girls. So I draw back and I'm like, oh boy.
At every movement that the fog just wisps around you and just moves around you like water as you continue forward. We're at the top of the stairs. You realize that there is a torch on the wall leading down there. That's where that fire flickering is coming from. You also hear something that the players have heard before, but not our characters. You hear chanting. Orioto, Daria, Orioto, Daria. Sounds like a lot of people. It sounds like they're a good 30, 40 feet away.
Maud will reach out and snatch the torch, look at the other girls, and say, "We knew it was probably going to be the four of us all along anyway. You ready?"
Born ready.
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right.
These carved stone steps that were obviously part of the lighthouse because they curve as you go down into the sub basement. Finally opens up beyond the borders of the old lighthouse. Almost a ballroom sized area has been carved out under the ground. You see 10, 15 people standing. You can see the back of their heads. You can see their white robes. Though you can't see the masks, you can tell they're wearing them. There's somebody standing on a dais in front of them, facing you, but doesn't seem to recognize that you've entered this area. They're all swaying. And on a stone block, we see the deputy. She's naked, except she's also wearing a mask. Elsie, how do you know she's about to be sacrificed?
There is a small table next to where she is stretched out that has what looks to be kind of a bejeweled ceremonial sort of dagger or short sword on it.
Maud, how can you tell that they've prepared her body to welcome this child of Persephone?
It has these rune marks drawn all over her, including several points where the eye is basically, in geometric patterns and such like that.
Geraldine, how can you tell you've only got a couple seconds to do something?
Because the lead of it is picking up the weapon.
Jackie, what are you going to do?
Oh, I'm gonna set someone on fire. So Maud's got the torch, and I've already, as we were walking down the stairs, I was already like, I don't even know where we're going down there. We just firebomb it from the top floor. But of course, we have to get the deputy, so, or the sheriff rather. So, yeah, she's gonna light up a bottle and just huck it right into the center of him, like not obviously on our friend, but
More in the crowd than on the dais.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to need a night move. Before we decide what it's going to be with, what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail it?
Oh boy, everything could go wrong here. If the room's more flammable than anticipated, and suddenly we're all in trouble, I think that's the worst case scenario here. Is she's because we're down below ground, so yeah, and it does smell of sulfur. That's kind of curious.
Yeah, I think there's something in the air that causes this fire to spread very, very quickly. Not a controlled, centralized. I just want to take out some of these cultists and maybe burn a path literally for us to get to the dais. But it's worse than that because the first non-cult victim of this will be the deputy. She will burn to death. So let's go ahead and enroll a night move with vitality.
Oh boy. Sorry, Sheriff. Oh.
So you throw the bottle. And you've seen it in the movies. The bottle's supposed to fall and it breaks, and that's when the explosion happens. But somehow it seems to be setting the air on fire as you are throwing it. You can hear Dory go, "What are you doing?" And she's holding the knife above the deputy. And it's like a flash. The fire spreads. We hear the screams of the cultists as they start to burn. It reaches Elsie, and as she starts to burn, she realizes and falls directly on top of the deputy.
I'm gonna use a crown.
All right, let's go ahead and mark that crown. You describe to me what happens. You throw that Molotov cocktail.
It's just because of the proximity and just not as spry as I used to be. I think that it falls short of what I was aiming for. So, it hits the floor, it spreads like you would expect, and it catches the hem of a couple of the cultists' cloaks, and they do start to go up, but it's not the immediate stop to the moment that Jackie was hoping for.
Add the condition running out of time for me.
Ooh.
They start to scream. Dory's taking the knife. At first, we thought she was going to plunge it. She had it above her head. But now she's taking the knife and she's starting to scrape and draw on the forehead of the deputy. Elsie, Jared, Maud, what are we doing? Cultists are confused. Some of them are starting on fire. You can smell the flesh burning.
I'm going to send Poe running straight down and at her and jump claws out onto her and climb and tear as much as possible.
I'm going to need a night move from you, and I think I want this with sensitivity because this has to do with your connection to Poe, I think.
It does.
Yeah. So what are you afraid is going to happen if you fail this connection with Poe?
Oh, that she's going to catch Poe with the dagger as he goes to jump.
Yeah. I think it's worse than that too, because then you're going to hear this a lot. I think we get the deputy as part of that as well. Let's go ahead and roll that night move.
Okay. Now, when I use the cat to get advantage on a roll, would that allow me to do that?
You sure can. Let's go ahead and mark it.
With sensitivity, you say?
Yep. Make sure you set it for
advantage. Yes.
Advantage, because you're using Poe.
Woo! Woo!
That's a crit.
Thank goodness.
Well, let's take turns. Elsie, how does Poe stop Dory from finishing the eye design on the deputy's forehead?
He comes kind of sailing from above and lands directly on her back, which draws her posture kind of back and arched and up. And I imagine that she kind of turns with it, trying to see what's on her back.
Maud, I think it was pretty important to the four of you that not only do all of these cultists get their just desserts, but there was somebody in particular that you wanted to make sure met justice. How are you satisfied that the sheriff meets the proper justice down here in the ritual room?
I think that Maud sees the spaces that were sort of drawn out for the ritual, the weird runes and symbols. And she, while most of the cultists are still inside the circle, she's going to pull out her salt and just go around disrupting every single one of those runes, not necessarily expecting what will happen when she does, because she's understanding like there's a lot of like built up power in this room and it's got to go somewhere. If it doesn't go into the deputy, it's got to go somewhere. So I think at the end of it, what she does is just whip a circle of the salt directly around the sheriff while he's standing there confused.
What happens to him?
I think everything, like I said, all of that energy, everything that was building up just hits him all at once. I don't even think there's a second to even think about what's happening to him before he's just gone.
Geraldine, how do you save the deputy?
Oof. As we know, no problem running into the face of danger or cops. So as a fire is happening, she's going to run down and kind of drag her off the podium. Simultaneously with taking her other hand and slapping her awake. So she's away from the woman getting attacked by the cat and closer to maybe the fire where if it hits her skin, she'll wake up.
I think we see Elsie, Maud, and Geraldine first going up the steps. Geraldine is cradling and carrying the deputy with her. Jackie's pulling up behind. Jackie, I want you to describe something for me. The dark passenger doesn't come back up with you. The dark passenger stays down here. And as you turn around, you finally see what it is. What is it? As it finally parts from you.
Wow. That's. I think it's actually Maddie. I think it's her wife.
I'm going to need an epilogue from each of you. And you can decide how much time has passed. So it's going to be one last vignette. And it could be 20 minutes from now, 15, 20 years from now, each of you can decide, and whoever wants to start, but I need an epilogue from each of you.
I think mine is immediate, almost immediately after we come up from the lighthouse. There is just this presence all around as the fog is clearing up. We see cars pulling up to the lighthouse, and we see a figure that we've only heard on the phone so far, as a man as old as Maud, but better built, taller, stronger, in much better shape, steps out, sees her, and goes, "Maud, what the hell is going on?" And Maud just doesn't say anything, just runs up, gives him a hug. He looks completely baffled, but he's clearly brought some of his influence in to kind of clean up here and take over whatever needs to kind of be taken over. And you just kind of pan out with Maud just finally breaking, like finally just crying, breaking down, and just kind of letting go.
Who's next?
Yeah, I can go.
Geraldine, what is this?
You will see about a year and a half from now. You see her in a different state, driving her motorcycle, hat on, safety hat on, helmet on. And you will see her drive to an underpass. It looks abandoned. And around the opening to the underpass, you may see maybe some familiar glyphs that we've seen throughout. The same but different, as she heads in with a determined look on her face to learn more.
Who's next?
I'll go next if you'd like. Sorry, I got attacked by a moth.
That's all right. When is this, Elsie? When is your epilogue?
It's about 2 years later, and we're back in the Crow and Quill, and it's been slightly updated. There's new windows. There's alarms on the doors, alarms on the windows. And you see Elsie kind of behind the cabinet, behind the counter, handing out baked goods to people with her usual smile on her face. And there's a little shelf above her that has a small vase, and it says Poe on the outside of it. And it kind of pans down, and you see this new little gray and white sort of kitten that's prancing around underneath it. And I bend down and I give it a little treat and scoop it up and just kind of take a look around and bask in the customers that are in and the goods that are being sold and the normalcy of it all. Of course, postcard from Geraldine up on the wall as well.
Jackie, when is yours?
Jack's is pretty soon after we get back, and it's just this. She's walking around and she's pulling all of the sticky notes down off of all of the various pieces of furniture, and she's actually, instead of she's putting the will away in her desk, and she actually calls her sister just to talk to her like a normal person. And I think that's kind of the final moment is like Jackie actually reconnecting with family.
Let's go to credits. We got a lot to talk about. We'll be right back. So bittersweet. You guys are walking into this with enough crowns that I was very optimistic that the four of you would be successful. I found the solution and how you guys piece together to answer that final question so satisfying. I was hoping that this would be satisfying as well. I found it very satisfying. And it's really, your success is kind of unlocked, once you answer that question. I think it's just a matter of us just playing to find out not what happened, but how it happened, which I think was pretty cool. Um, Looking back over 13 episodes for you, Amy, what do you think are the memories that are going to stick with you in playing?
Oh man, this group is just really something special. And I came into it not really knowing anybody. I knew Maeve and I kind of knew everybody else, but it was like not really knowing play styles or any other games outside in D&D. And so like all of the awesome memories that I have playing in the game really kind of pale in comparison to the people that I've got to meet and interact with during all of this. And I think I'm going to take away from it some of my new best friends. Y'all are stuck with me now.
It's not the ritual we end, it's the friends we make along the way.
We saved the world with friendship, okay?
How about for you, Shadika? What really stands out, having played from beginning, middle, and end on this?
Oh my gosh, well, Amy said such a great thing. I guess I'll be like more materialistic. I want to say playing with this cast was an absolute pleasure from beginning, middle to end, because it was, for me, it was never like the big moments of something happening. It was like each of us has like super small moments, which is extremely in character. One that instantly comes to mind is when Jackie just said in character during a time travel episode, and her character tries to get to the phone to call her wife. And it was so small that we barely caught it, but it was just so meaningful. And we each had moments like that where it was like, it took me to like a different place.
How about for you, Miss Navi? What stands out?
Oh my god! I think I touched on this before, but this was like my first all-girl group, and like there's like some girl power thing happening because it was really really good. It was really fun, and we all vibed like super well, and like that's just something that I've never really had in a group before. I loved that. I continue to love that. Like I'm sorry guys, I'm like I would actively love to be in an all-girl group again. That was so fun. I loved it. The game itself was fantastic. So I'll be kinder to PBTA when I'm speaking about them in the future, maybe just a little.
Well, this is generations past PBTA, though. I mean, it definitely I think has its seeds in there, but it's very different than your traditional PBTA. So
that's how I justify it too.
Yeah, you can still hate on it if you want. And like this one. All right, last but not least, Maeve, we've played many, many games together. You've played many, many games with this group here. What stands out for you?
Well, I have to go all the way back to the beginning for the first part of what I'm thinking, because it just hit me all again, like especially listening to Navi talk, and it's the fact that thinking about this as when you came to me and said, hey, I want to do this all girl group and I want you to be part of it. And you were one of the first people, Craig, that I really came out to, because we were doing Forbidden Lands, and I was like, I'm not sure, I'm feeling this way, I'm not sure how, and you were just like, okay, yeah, it's good, whatever you want to do, you tell me. And so your support through all of this, and then having me be on this cast with all these other wonderful, and I'm gonna cry now. So, but just to be on this cast with all these wonderful ladies and be included in that experience in this way it's been awesome. Like it's just been so good for me to feel like part of this group. Like Navi said, it feels so good to be recognized in that way, in that manner. And I mean, I appreciate all of your friendship. And, so yeah, it's been a year. So it's been a
I
great
know.
year.
It has been. It has been. You're a good egg, Maeve. You're a good egg.
We love you.
I think one of the neatest things for me, I'm going to be like a complete like downer after me. Let's end on a low note. I loved, and this is a credit to the four of you, that a year ago we knew nothing about these four women, and I felt like as we closed out, we felt like we found them all. And that's my favorite thing in this hobby is seeing characters become their own. And it wasn't because you guys came in here with 4 pages of backstory. You came with these characters with like a move that you picked out from a list. And all
Maud did
four.
come with 4 husbands.
Yes, that's true. You had a spreadsheet. I forgot about that. But it just was really neat watching you discover and define yourselves and define each other. Everybody just rolled with it. There's so many yes ands. I think it was pretty damn special. We've got Amy and Shadika playing on Saturdays. We continue playing our Shiver Gothic. I'm going to trick Navi into coming back and playing again. And then Maeve, we've got a little plan, Maeve and I do. So keep your eyes and ears open on the channel. You definitely are going to see Maeve again. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate everybody being here live. Cheers all.
Howdy, friends. Thank you for watching. All our content is archived and organized in playlists on the Third Floor Wars YouTube channel. Check it out. And if you could like, follow, subscribe, and even set your notifications to this channel on YouTube and Twitch, we'd appreciate it, and it'll make sure that you catch all of our content. I talk with creators, designers, and experts across the gaming landscape in every episode of our podcast, Tabletop Talk. Open up your favorite podcatcher and search for Tabletop Talk from Third Floor Wars. Support your creators. They make the content you love, and it's your support that makes it happen. If you want to help us, go to Third Floor Wars on patreon.com, and you can help us for as little as $1 a month. Thanks again. We'll see you next time. Take care.